Have you ever had this amazing, God-given vision for your ministry, but then it just gets stuck? Stuck in the mud when it comes time to actually make it happen? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful tool from John Edmiston's book, Solution Focused Ministry. We're zeroing in on this super practical, workshop-style framework he lays out, one that's designed to take your team all the way from vision to reality.
So to get the main idea, picture this. Two people both get a flat tire. First, you've got problem-focused Pete. He just stares at the flat, gets furious, and starts calling politicians to complain about the roads. You know what happens? His car goes nowhere. But then, there's solution-focused Sam. He's got a plan. He calls his auto club, they change the tire, and pretty soon he's on his way. This super simple story, it perfectly captures the huge mindset shift we're talking about today.
All right, so here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with that core shift, moving from problems to solutions. Then we'll unpack the book's Do-It-Yourself seminar, basically a workshop in a box. We'll see how it helps build a new mindset, gives you practical methods, and uses some really powerful questions to turn that vision of yours into a reality. Okay, first up, the core shift. And listen, this is way more than just positive thinking. The whole argument here is that this one tiny change in how you look at things can totally transform your ministry's results. It is the absolute foundation for getting unstuck.
So what is solution-focused ministry really? Well, think of it as a one-two punch. It's a new way of thinking combined with a new way of doing. The whole point is to help you find and roll out God's solutions so you can finally get unstuck and start making a real, tangible, spiritual impact. The book has another great analogy. Imagine a sharp nail sticking up out of a wooden chair. Now, a problem-focused person might sit around and philosophize about it forever. Is it bad karma? Should we form a committee? A solution-focused person, they just grab a hammer and deal with the nail. The point is to stop analyzing the problem to death and just start creating the solution. Now, here's where this gets really practical. This isn't just some abstract theory. The book gives us an incredible tool, and it's the focus of our explainer today, a complete do-it-yourself seminar. It's literally a workshop in a box that you can use to lead your own team through this whole process. And you can see it right here in the book's structure. See how the first 8 chapters, all about the core mindset and the methods, they all lead up to chapter 9. That chapter is the destination. It pulls everything together into these guided sessions that you and your team can actually work through together. The seminar itself follows this really clear 3-part path. First, you and your team work on developing that shared mindset. Second, you start putting the practical methods into action, and the results of all that, you actually turn that godly vision into a dynamic, on-the-ground reality. So let's look at how this seminar is built, starting with step 1, the new mindset. The book is really, really clear on this point. You cannot skip this step. You have to change how you think before you can really change what you do. So the first 3 sessions of the workshop are all about building this new mindset. They guide your team through what it means to be solution-focused, what that looks like for a Christian leader, and how to develop what the author calls a masterful mind, one that approaches challenges with faith, not with fear. And this quote just nails why that's so critical. A faith-filled, solution-focused mindset, it energizes you. It's the fuel. But a doubt-filled, problem-focused mindset, it paralyzes you. It stops you right in your tracks. So this first step is all about making sure you've got the right fuel in the tank. Okay, so once that mental and spiritual foundation is solid, the seminar pivots. It moves from mindset to methods. This is where your team gets its hands dirty and starts building the how for your vision. The next 5 workshop sessions walk your team through this whole system. And it makes so much sense, right? You move from discovering the solution to building a system for it, finding the right people, actually implementing it, and then making sure it lasts. And a core tool you'll use in this methods phase is this incredibly simple but powerful checklist, the 7 basic questions. I mean, look at them. By forcing your team to answer the why, who, what, when, where, how, and how much, you bring so much clarity. You turn a fuzzy idea into a rock-solid plan. But the real power of this do-it-yourself seminar comes from the questions it teaches you to ask. It's not a lecture series. It's a guided discovery that your team goes on together. So let's try a couple of them out right now. Okay, here's a famous one from the seminar. It's called the miracle question. Just think about your team's biggest, most pressing problem right now. Now, imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and poof, a miracle happened. It's totally solved. What would be different? What would that look and feel like? See?
This question is so powerful because it just blows past all the obstacles and focuses your brain directly on the solution. The seminar also gets you to ask questions like this one to find out what's already working. It makes your team think about past wins. You know those kinds when things just clicked and took off? The idea here is so simple. You build momentum way faster by leaning into your strengths, not just staring at your weaknesses. So, you've done the work. You've established the new mindset, and you walked through the methods. What's the end game? Well, the whole point of this entire process is to finally build a bridge over that frustrating gap between the world of ideas and the world of actual, concrete results. This quote from the book says it all perfectly. You are turning those ideas, those prayers, those spiritual notions that are in your head into results on the ground. Effective ministry that has a real-world impact. And let's just be really clear, this whole framework is for leaders who are ready to move. As one person said about the book, it's for people who are tired of spinning their wheels and ready to see God move in powerful new ways. It's a hands-on, practical tool for making that happen. So, we'll end with a question that's adapted from the book. We always think about what we'll gain by putting a solution in place. But have you ever stopped to think about the cost of inaction? What's the real cost of a broken system, of low morale, of just keeping on doing what you know isn't working? What's the real cost of staying stuck? That's something to think about.